Hello everybody, this is a gaming review of the tablet Acer Iconia W4-820, running on a quad-core Intel Z3740 Atom CPU running at 1.3 GHz and 1.8 GHz with Intel burst, 2 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage, and 8.5-inch 1280 by 800 IPS LED backlight, 5-point touchscreen monitor, and Intel HD graphics inside. All these are used to run the desktop version of Windows 8.1. On this side we have two very weak speakers, one 3.5mm audio jack, one micro USB connection used also for charging. On the back side we have a 720p HD camera and microphone, and that's it. On this side we have the power button. On this side we have the micro SD slot up to 64 GB, one HDMI micro variety, volume rocker, and a microphone. Starting the gaming part of this review, we have Civilizations for Colonization. A weird game, as it, well, at least in terms of name. The game runs fluently, although I haven't played a full game on the tablet just yet. Graphic wise, the game looks good, is smooth, and doesn't show any problems of running this beautiful, lovely, and very good turn-based game. The in-game cinematics also run fine, the animation runs fine, the map scrolling and zooming in and out work fine. If you like this game, definitely get it for this tablet if you have this tablet. Of course, if you have both, you are not watching this review. Anyway, my point is, this tablet can easily run this game. For our next game I have Driver Parallel Lines by Ubisoft, running at 1280 by 800 resolution. At first the game appears to be running great, but there are small pauses that happen from time to time while driving. I don't know if it is a memory issue, an SD card issue, or GPU, but the problem is there and makes the game basically unplayable at this resolution. However, changing the resolution to 720 and the rest of the settings you can see here dramatically improves the game's performance on this tablet, makes it fully playable. Now, forgive me for my very poor camera skills for this recording, but you can clearly see how there are no more observable poses in the game, and apart from my atrocious driving skills while holding a camera and looking through the phone, I think the game pretty much looks as it should be, meaning a fun driving experience. And I was very impressed, and I did not expect this game to run as good as it runs. I mean, seriously, look at this. It's fantastic, and I played this for about an hour. Definitely worth trying on this tablet. The next game is Weird World's Return to Infinite Space. A very light, short game. Well, this was how it was designed, of course. The game plays fluently, but I have to say I didn't expect anything less from it. The main map, strategic map if you prefer, is well animated and runs without any pauses or other problems. When you go into a battle, at least this small battle, since I didn't have time to try more, the game runs just fine. Now I realized it might be difficult to see the small enemy fighters in the screen, but trust me, the game runs without any problems. For the next game I tried Warlock, Master of the Arcane, a turn-based strategy game in a fantasy world. At the appropriate settings, still widescreen though, the game runs very well, and due to the small size of the screen, running non-HD textures makes the game not less beautiful than it already is. There are no problems in slowdowns or any other issues with the game. However, if you play the maximum settings for a game, maximum huge map and all that, if you go in a game for many hours, then there is some slowdown between turns, but it is barely noticeable. The game, as far as I'm concerned, is definitely one to have on this tablet. For the next game I have Stronghold Crusader HD. There is a remake retouching of the game by Firefly Studios. I didn't play much, so I can't possibly know 100% what's going to happen later, but at least at the beginning of the game runs without any problems in terms of performance, as you can sort of see here. Considering the type of game and the age of the game, I don't think you're gonna have any problem running this on this tablet. For the next game I have the adventure game Resonance. This is a point and click adventure game with a little bit of retro feeling in it. Unfortunately I had to run this in a windowed mode or else the game would crash. In a windowed mode the game runs fine, and of course since it's not exactly the most demanding game, I doubt there will be any problems later on, as with most point and click adventures. The next game is Deadlock, Planetary Conquest, an older game which I never thought it would have any problems, and I was right. It is a turn-based game with real-time animation, and since it is quite an old game for now, it has zero problems running on this tablet, performance or otherwise. Next game is Port Royale 2, a game I didn't know how it would run, but I was pleasantly surprised, apart from the loading screens. The game runs very fluently, but it has a graphic glitch with the sea in this close-up view mode. Unfortunately, as I have searched for it, it's not just a tablet issue, it is something that happens with many other computers. I don't know why. Performance wise, the game looks fine, runs fine without any problems. Close-up city view or the great strategic view, as you can see here, there are no problems with the map whatsoever. Unfortunately, the sea thing might be game breaking for you or not. For our next game I have Myst, Masterpiece Edition. Now obviously I wasn't expecting any performance issues, but I still wanted to see how this game runs on this tablet. The animation of course is as great as ever was, but this is how the game was designed. Everything appears to be running fine without any problems. Animations where they are, graphics, sound, everything runs just fine, at least in this first part of the game. I'm not a Myst master by any chance. The next game is FTL Advanced Edition. This game is one of the best games to play on a tablet, even though you cannot fully use it with just a touchscreen, unfortunately. But it runs perfectly without any problems. In fact, I have played many hours on it since I got the tablet. Unfortunately, it drains the battery that more than you would ever believe. Still, it runs fine. The next game is Strategic Command European Theater, a game that I never expected again to have any problems, and I'm glad I was proven right. The game runs fine from beginning to the end, even when there are many units on the map. There is no noticeable slowdown at any point, and it's definitely one game you can run without problems on this tablet. The next game we have Galaxy on Fire 2 FullHD Edition. This was originally a tablet-only game. I think it was for Android. So really there's no surprise this game runs fine, and it looks great. I haven't played much of it, but the little I have, as you can see here, there are zero performance issues. I have no doubt the game will run fine well into the storyline. And it's a nice little game from the looks of it. Might be worth playing even more. Next game in our list is WRC Powerslide, a new game, arcade racing game. At 640 by 480 resolution, the game runs fluently, as you can see here. It's really fun to play. I can do nothing about the borders that I know of. Running the game at higher resolutions slows down the game a little bit. It's still playable, but it is noticeably slower. If you don't mind the resolution, this game is definitely playable on this tablet. Next game in our list is Defense Grid The Awakening. At lower resolution and graphical details, the game runs fine, at least on these couple of early stages that I have tried it. I don't know how big the game gets later on, but considering how fluent the game runs at this resolution and details, I have no problem believing this game will run just fine later on. Definitely worth trying if you have it. Next game in our list is Grid, the first Grid. What can I say? Well, I had to turn down the resolution to 640 as you can see here, and lower most of the details down. But after I did that, the game runs so good. And since it is a tiny screen, well, 8.5 inches, you have no problems noticing any, well, most graphical details being so low. The game is superb on this tablet, especially with the gamepad. There are zero slowdowns, zero problems whatsoever, no matter whoever does that noise says so. And even the in-cockpit view is quite good, even though, as you can see here, it is disabled partly. I'm sure if you can change the settings, you'll find something that suits your taste. Very, very good. For our next game, we have Pod, or Planet of Doom in some versions. This is one of my favorite racing games, if not my favorite. Well, and I'm so glad it runs so well on this system. Of course, it is a very old game. It goes back to the very first days of the Intel Pentium MMX edition. Yep, the very first one. Still, the game runs great, it looks great, and it plays, of course, super great. Yes, I'm not objective on this, but I don't care, I love this game. Definitely runs fine on this tablet. For our next game we have Oblivion. Yes, an Elder Scrolls game. And as you can see from the settings, not too bad, not too low settings. I'm sure if you can play around with the settings, you'll find the resolution and details that suits your needs. Now, the game at these settings runs great and looks very good, at least inside buildings and caves and all that. As you can see, there is no problem with the animations or any other slowdown. The fights are well made and well run. Outside, the game looks okay. It doesn't look too good, at least at the greater distances, but in my opinion Oblivion never did look that great. When you are fighting, you have zero slowdown, and that's probably the most important part for this test. Look at this. Yes, zero slowdown, even though we are outside. Now we're under attack by this archer. Come on. Yeah, now you die. Anyway, the game runs great, definitely runs great. Next game in our list is Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4. The only Modern Warfare type game I have. And it runs fantastic. At least in the training section of the game. But it runs so good, so fluid, that I'm sure there will be no problems later on in the game. I'm not the biggest Call of Duty fan, so that's why you don't see much more of this. But I have no doubt this game runs great at this resolution at least. If you play with the settings, you might be able to run it edge fluid in higher resolutions or lower resolution, depending on what you need. Very good, very good. Next game is Omerta, City of Gangsters, and it's fantastic, at least as long as you lower the resolution and the settings. This runs at, this particular video is from 1280 by 800, which is the maximum resolution for this monitor, for the screen, but I have lowered many of the settings enough so that this is playable. If not, then particularly at night the graphics were too slow to enjoy. But with these settings the game definitely runs fine. Now, if you like this game, of course, it's a different matter. I think it's a very good game and I enjoy it very much. But yeah, it runs great. Doesn't look that great with these settings, but I'm willing to accept the limitations for a very good game. Next in our game, Insane by Codemasters, and one of the best games of its generation for what it was. As the bicycle or the bike outside agrees with me. Graphically, it doesn't look that great anymore, especially since I have to lower a bit the resolution and details. But gameplay wise, it is fun as it ever was. It is very fluid, runs great, and definitely runs fantastic on this tablet. Next, Audiosurf. You have to lower the graphic details quite a lot to make this game fully playable, since it is quite demanding, especially on faster paced tracks or faster tempo tracks. You can see here there is some slowdown at parts, so if you want to play the game without any, you're gonna have to lower the details even more. But having said that, at least the game is very playable, and if you lower the details even more, it is fully playable without any problems, apart from perhaps the eye candy. Yeah, definitely runs on this tablet without any problems. Civilization 5. The game runs great as long as you lower the resolution a bit and the details. However, you also have to run this in DX9 mode, else the game keeps crashing for some reason. Still, it looks good enough for me. Risen. Yes, Risen. Surprisingly enough, this game runs real well at medium settings. I have no problem with the game looking lower than it could, and the game runs, as far as I can tell, very, very well. Graphics, audio, gameplay, everything runs great. As I said, I'm very surprised this game runs well on this tablet, because I thought it was quite above what this tablet could do, but well, I guess I was wrong. If you like the game or not, that's a different matter, of course. I think the game is very good, the little I have played it, and I have no problem with the combat that most people seem to complain about for some reason. Anyway, even at these lower settings, the game is beautiful, and if you play it on the 8.5-inch tablet, I don't think you're gonna have too many problems with the game looking less than perfect. At least, that's my view on it. Now for the next game we have Star Trek Birth of the Federation, and the best thing about this, well, apart from being a great game, is that it is fully compatible with the touchscreen interface. It's fantastic. You don't need a mouse, you can play it on the go, and it already is one of the best strategy games ever. Now there is some slowdown after you pick anything, but it is very limited. It's really no problem. Now you'll notice that sometimes I miss the clicks on something, but that is because I was watching the screen through the well, not viewfinder, but through the smartphone. Otherwise the game plays real well, and I just can't believe how fantastic this game works with a touchscreen. I'm blown away, and you can see here, as soon as you get the hang of it, there's no problem with the touchscreen. Of course you can always use the mouse, no problem with that, but come on, you can take this, it's on the go without any mouse, without any keyboard, and just play the touchscreen. I'm sorry, but I'm just blown away. Great. And yes, it does run great too. Lastly, something that is not directly connected to gaming, YouTube HD video streaming. 720p streaming, but still HD. As you can see here, there is zero problem handling the HD video here, but you know, one shouldn't expect to have any problems with this much horsepower in this tablet anyway. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you, bye.